Hello everybody, this is Emery48 here, and welcome back to a new game, The Advisor Episode 1, Royal Pain. And this is by a game designer, the same game designer that made The Test, which I really enjoyed, and bought a bundle of his games. So we are trying out another one of his. I don't know if it's the same style or not. This feels like the same style. At the end of this session, you will be given a secret word determined by the choices you make. When you receive your word, be sure to memorize it or write it down, as it will be of great use moving forward. Oh, I get to move. What the? How did this happen? I can't believe I'm stuck here. What are they doing? What are they going to do with us? We're going to die in here, aren't we? That's good. Highly unlikely. Yeah, that's positive. Oh yeah? Because the King's Guard don't typically slaughter prisoners in their cells. Well, that's a bit of good news, right? They would much rather drag us into the town square and execute us in front of the townsfolk to make a public example out of us. That is so much better than what we had thought. I thought you said we weren't likely to die. No, I said we weren't likely to die in here. It would be highly improbable and quite a waste when they could use our execution as a deterrent to those seeking to commit crimes against the kingdom. Well, you seem awfully content with our circumstances. Why are you so calm? There's no use worrying about what we cannot control. It takes valuable time and mental energy away from what matters, and that's finding a solution to the problem at hand. Or, in other words, focusing on what we do have control over. So what can we control? I'm assuming you have some grand plan or something. It's already unfolding as we speak. Hey, what's all this talking going on? Don't you know how to be quiet? We're sorry. It won't happen again. We'll shut up right quick. Since when is speaking a crime? So he looks like he's tied to the wall. What was that, prisoner? He didn't mean anything by it. He just had a frog in his throat. I'm actually not sure that he was even speaking words. That's a great way to get out of anything, really. Actually, I think the real crime is that you think it's acceptable to walk up and ruin our perfectly good conversation. Really quite rude, if you ask me. What the hell do you think you're doing? You're going to get us killed. Well, it's a good thing I wasn't asking you, filth. Really got us. I think someone ought to teach you a lesson for talking back like that. Well, now you've done it. I tend to find myself on a never-ending journey for knowledge. I would absolutely love to learn a lesson, if only there were someone here, educated enough, to teach it to me. Bloody hell, mate. Are you fucking mental? I think I've heard it about enough out of you, scum. I'll be taking that tongue of yours. Hope you don't mind. Now hold still. I don't want to hurt you. I just want to make sure you never speak again. I think I'm going to be sick. Yeah, I agree with you, pal. I can't watch this. Oh. Swippity-doo. What in the hell is this trickery? Now allow me to teach you a lesson. Oh, why you should never piss off a magician. Oh, he's very dead. Like, very dead. That would be putting it lightly, yes. Are you going to kill me? Not if I don't have to. Great. So this means I'm free. I'm free. Oh, praise the gods, I will see the light of day again. That's bad. Well, that hope was certainly short-lived. I don't suppose you're housekeeping. It appears that I've made an awfully big mess. So this is the mighty Magnus Magician, Pyromaniac, Murderer. Yes, King Harold, that would be accurate. You make me sound like such a bad guy with that choice of tone, King. I notice I haven't had a choice yet. Yes, well, you don't have the best of reputations across the land for being a good Samaritan. For example, if I were to look here at your list of charges, it would appear that up until moments ago, you've been held prisoner for setting blaze to... Let's see. 4 barns, 3 merchant stands, the local inn, a stable, the library, the church, a farm just outside the castle containing my favorite cattle, and an orphanage. So way to end it off, really. Didn't realize I had orphanages this long ago, but that's... The library was an accident. Just that one, just the books. Yes, well, the list doesn't end there. Let's take a look at the casualties of your actions, shall we? If you insist, this can't be good. During your reckless pyromaniac, I'm just going to move on. Killing spree, you managed to incinerate 10 men, 4 women, several children, 2 dogs, and a cat, as well as the cattle that he mentioned before. Excuse me, King, but what kind of monster do you take me for? To think that I'd harm 2 dogs and a cat. It's obvious to me that you not only lack a conscience, but along with it, a lack of self-control and ability to keep your mouth shut. Most important of all the crimes. I assure you, King, the ability is present. The desire is what's missing. Even still, I've come to realize that you're far too great of a threat to keep locked away in my dungeons, and I do not wish to make an enemy of you. Well, that's a surprise. You're smarter than you look. Instead of attempting to punish you, as I'm sure it would end poorly for my men, I would like to offer you a deal. I'm listening. A man of your power has obviously been around a while, seen many things in his journeys, discovered many secrets, read much in his travels about things outside of our lands. This would be an accurate assessment, King. Now get to the point, would you? I want you to be my royal advisor. I thought I was going to be playing the redheaded dude that was scared. I don't get to advance that? Okay. You want me to advise you. That's what I said, yes. Now we're all as confused, actually. And you trust me enough for such a powerful position? Absolutely not. However, I'm taking a calculated risk. Fair. You see, Magnus, I can either let you go or I can attempt to take advantage of the blessing that the gods have laid before me when you came burning your way across my kingdom. If I can give you a reason to stay in here, it means I don't have to worry about what you might do out there. And if I can give you enough of a reason to not betray me, then your expertise would come in handy with the problems we've been having around here. So this is a king advising game. There's been many of these, so it'll be interesting to see what they actually put in front of us. To a man with an unquenchable thirst for knowledge and new experiences, interesting is about as good of a response as I can hope for. Again, I must say, you're not as dumb as you look. It's really quite kind from what he's done to other people. If I were to accept your offer, what would I get in return? What would you open-ended? Blank check. It's a reasonable answer. The man in the cells with me. Who is he? Billy Buckles, a local merchant. He usually peddles various wares, whatever he can get his hands on, to feed his family, so I hear. Interesting. What was his crime? Tax evasion. Awesome. Love them. Tax evasion? You have him locked in the Royal Palace dungeons for tax evasion? He somehow managed to weasel his way out of paying for over a decade. By the time we found out, he had racked up over 3,000 shillings worth of debt to the kingdom. You don't say. A lowly peddler who acquires random wares that somehow manages to outsmart the king's tax collectors for that long? Something doesn't add up. What is it you're implying, magician? Well, either he's more intelligent and talented than he leads on, and common goods isn't the only thing Billy Buckles is peddling, or your kingdom is so poorly run that you need my help more than you'd care to admit. Both of these things may simultaneously be true, Magnus. I can confirm that it isn't easy to admit weakness for me, but what I've been doing hasn't worked for years, and I've dug myself quite the hole. My brother, Lord Farron, has waged war against my kingdom. My people are unsettled, which has led to economical depression. Food and supplies are getting more difficult to come by, and my army's morale is shifting southward. If I don't find a way to turn my kingdom around quickly, Farron will usurp my throne and take everything our father built. And that's where Magnus enters stage left. I see now. Yes, now you see. So will you help me or not? Billy Buckles, the merchant. Free him from his shackles and let him go back to his family, pardon him of his crimes, and wipe his debt clean, and we have a deal. Why do you care about some lowly old merchant man? Out of all the things you could ask for, you choose this. You see, Your Highness, your failure to comprehend the steps towards what I stand to gain from making this bargain is precisely why you're hiring me to turn your kingdom around instead of doing it yourself. As much as your words sting my soul, Magnus, I suppose you're right. I may not see the logic in your reasoning, but I do trust it nonetheless. I think we've had enough small talk. Time is of the essence, yes. Perhaps we should get to the root of the problem and start solving some of these pressing issues. Agreed. I will start by asking you a plethora of questions. I want you to answer them for me. Okay, we are getting to the decision-making part. Sounds a bit like an interrogation. In a way, it is. Some of my questions will be to determine to what degree I can place my trust in you, and some of these questions will be to determine your level of knowledge in various areas. While I'm analyzing your problem-solving skills, I'll also be slipping in hypothetical situations and scenarios in which you will provide an answer that theoretically will help me turn my kingdom around. Then on with it, King. My participation comes from a willing mind, but my patience runs thin, like the hairline you cover with that enormous golden crown of yours. This is a great working relationship. Well, now you're just being nasty. No, that was a general observation. If you want to see nasty, you should see what I left splattered across your dungeon walls. Yes, I heard about the guardsman Taylor. He was one of my favorites. And not anymore. Whoops. Alright, we're getting started. Food, supplies, nutrition, all important aspects of building and maintaining a strong army and keeping the morale of the people trending upwards. Let's see how resourceful you are and how quick of a problem solver you may be. Are you confident in your ability to determine which foods would best benefit a marching army? I'm sure I could figure it out relatively easily. My mother always made me eat my vegetables. Would you consider yourself to be a healthy individual? Sure. Of course, at least healthier than Guardsman Taylor. Wouldn't you agree? Would you consider yourself to be a good cook? Sure, why not? It's a game. I tend to do all my cooking myself. I don't trust others with my food. That's not how I meant to answer that. Are you able to follow directions for recipes easily? That's where I thrive. Do I come across as someone who struggles with reading? Of course I am able. Are you good at making up your own cooking recipes? No. I could certainly think of better uses of my time. Have you ever fantasized about being in a cooking competition? Yeah, as a kid. Once, but I was setting the other contestants on fire. That I wasn't doing. Do you feel like you have what it takes to win a cooking competition? Absolutely not. I'm a man of many talents, though that may not be one I'm confident in. Are you able to identify and determine whether or not a wild-growing fruit or vegetable is edible or toxic? Absolutely not. No, but I'd be sure to feed it to someone I don't like first, just in case. If you were in the wilderness and you had to forage to survive, do you believe that you would make it 3 months without any aid from others? No. No. I might die of boredom without having someone around to make fun of for that long. That's also completely fair. Do you consider yourself to be a capable hunter? Absolutely not. Useless. I've never had a hunt for food before, though I've been known to conjure quite a magically delicious bowl of cereal every now and then. That I can get behind. Do you prefer to eat meat over vegetables? Yes. When available, of course. Are you confident in your ability to make a nutritious and filling meal with minimal ingredients? Yeah. Assuming that the minimal ingredients have some nutritional value, you'd be amazed at what I can conjure when I put my mind to it. Do you think it's important to train the troops to be able to forage for themselves in dire situations? Yeah, that is probably helpful for soldiers. A soldier that can take care of themselves is a soldier worth keeping. Do you feel like adequate nutrition is among the top priorities for a marching army? 100%. An army marches on its stomach before it marches on its feet. Do you think that soldiers should get a choice in the food they eat? I'm thinking about sports teams. I feel like sports teams, I saw collegiate sports teams would just get given food by a nutritionist. So I think if you have an actual nutritionist, I think they should be able to make those choices for the soldiers. Soldiers should eat what they're given. The less decisions they have to make, the more focused they will be. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Do you think it's ever acceptable to drink water from a still pond? Yes. Perhaps in the utmost dire of situations, yes. If your strongest soldier was hungry, would you give up your food rations to fill their belly? No. I assure you, keeping me satiated will benefit your army far greater than keeping any single soldier well fed. If there was only enough water to quench one soldier's thirst, would you have 2 soldiers fight to determine who gets the water? Absolutely not. That's a waste. If we're short on water, soldiers fighting amongst themselves is the last thing we need. Do you believe that food is more important than water when preparing for battle? Probably, because food's going to hydrate you a little bit. It's going to have some water in it, so I think food's just more important. Under the majority of circumstances, yes. Do you think that you'd be good at managing all of the food and water intake of a marching army? I mean, it's just a number thing, really. If we've determined that we're not giving it to the strongest and we're just giving it out evenly, yeah, I think so. I think I'd be good at managing pretty much any task given, yes. Do you think it's more beneficial for an army to fight a battle on a full stomach or an empty stomach? I think it's gotta be full. Fighting on a full stomach, of course. We need our army full of energy and battle ready. I don't know why you'd want to fight on an empty stomach. Which do you think is a better skill to teach our troops, foraging or hunting? I think foraging. Foraging's a knowledge-based thing, whereas hunting is skill-based. And if you're fighting a lot, I think you're going to naturally be able to hunt some things, whereas foraging is about the knowledge of what you can and can't eat. A soldier who can forage is far better off. Which do you think is a better skill to teach your troops, gathering food or purifying water? Ooh. Gathering food. I still think the hydration's coming from water at some point, so I think you still need to have food. Gathering food is a skill that will keep many men alive. Would you rather feed your troops a diet consisting of 90% meat and 10% vegetables, or 90% vegetables and 10% meat? See, if it said plants, I would go with that, but mostly meat. Diet consisting of mainly meat will provide more sustenance. If it said plants, that would be completely different, but just vegetables. Would you rather have your troops resort to cannibalism in order to survive, or fight a battle while starving? Absolutely fight on an empty stomach. Resorting to cannibalism would drastically reduce morale, and it would be better to fight on an empty stomach. Steal the food from them. Would you rather your troops fight a battle high on wild forest mushrooms, or drunk on the finest ale the kingdom has to offer? I don't think either is good, but I think you're going to be less impacted by ale. Even the finest ale the kingdom has to offer is still weak-ass piss water, so I wouldn't really be concerned about it having any adverse effects on their performance. Would you rather give extra rations to your strongest warriors or your weakest warriors? Ooh. If we're giving out extra to one group, it's going to be the strongest. The strong soldiers must remain strong. If it was the weak soldiers don't eat, so the strong soldiers can eat more, no. Would you rather give food rations as a reward or take away rations as a punishment? Give as a reward, don't take away. Rewarding soldiers with extra food is always a great morale booster. It gives them something to strive for. If your troops are dying of thirst, would you rather they have tainted water or no water at all? It has to be tainted. Tainted water is better than no water. Just has to be. If rations became scarce, would you rather starve yourself, reducing your mental clarity and tactical prowess, or starve one of your soldiers, weakening them before battle? Is this assuming I'm not going into the battle? I'll starve myself. I don't require much to eat. I've dealt with starvation on plenty of occasions, and my mental clarity has never faltered. If you could feed your troops food that increased their strength and endurance substantially, or different food that increased their agility and precision substantially, which would you choose? Strength and endurance is paramount importance, 100%. Would you rather feed your troops food that makes them 10% smarter or 10% stronger? Ooh, smarter. I'm assuming these soldiers have to be strong already. Give us a little bit more brains, we can outsmart the opponent. Brains beat brawn any day. Would you rather feed your troops food that gives them a massive burst of energy for 10 minutes or a steady amount of energy for 30? Yeah, steady. Prolonged. This is going to be a long battle. Someone said he wins the race, or so I hear. If you were to capture enemy troops, would you rather feed them rations and keep them alive, or starve them to death? Oh. You gotta feed them. You can't just starve them. That's not good. I'm sure we could turn a foe into a friend with enough food. If you ran out of rations and had to resort to killing and cooking prisoners of war to sustain your food, would you tell them or keep it a secret? You gotta tell them. Honesty is important, and war is a dark, grim place that soldiers ought to know about. Your troops have been marching for many days, and your rations are nearly depleted. Wildlife in the area has been scarce in your travels, but there's a peaceful village not too far off in the horizon. What would you do? Send my men hunting and hope for the best. Ask the village if they wouldn't mind sparing food. Invade the village and take their food. I think I'd ask. See what we can get. I can be very persuasive with the locals. I think you send some to get food from the village. Send some to try and hunt. You've captured an enemy soldier who claims to be the best chef in all the land. He says that if you spare his life, he will cook meals for your troops that are more nutritious and will go further than they're currently eating. What do you do? Execute the chef. One less mouth to feed. Let the chef go. I don't trust him. Let the chef cook for your army. Continue to hold the chef prisoner. I think you just keep him prisoner. We'll have to treat him like the rest of the prisoners we decide to keep regardless of his job title. You've come across a potentially bountiful harvest of unknown mushrooms that could be added to your food supply. You're in a foreign land, and you've never seen this type of mushroom before. But an old man passing by claims that the mushrooms are good to eat. What do? Force the old man to eat a mushroom to test them. Trust the old man and harvest the mushrooms. Eat one of the mushrooms yourself. Have one of your soldiers eat the mushrooms. You know what? Old man said it's edible. You can eat it. If the mushrooms are safe to eat, then the old man won't mind being a taste tester for us. And if he doesn't want to, then you just don't eat them. You're running low on funds for food rations, and you need to choose which foods to cut back on. You must cut back by 10% on one of the 4 categories: meat, vegetables, water, or grains. I think you cut back on grains. I think. A little less grain won't hurt us much. I think that's the right choice. It's probably not. Your troops are starving, and there's a big battle on the horizon. One more night's sleep, and your men will be off to war to decide the fate of your kingdom. You have a few dozen prisoners from the opposing army held captive. Your chef thinks that it might be a good idea to resort to cannibalism. What do? Force the prisoners to hunt food for your men. Secretly feed the prisoners to your men. Openly feed the prisoners to your men. Fight the battle on an empty stomach. Yeah, have the prisoners hunt. If we're going to keep prisoners, they might as well be put to use. They got to eat too, so this is benefiting them. A small fort rests just over the mountains, about a half-day's travel away. You have good intel that the fort contains a bountiful amount of food. If you were to overtake the fort, you wouldn't be able to stay long, as you must continue your march. If you were to overtake the fort. Okay. You would only be able to take 20% of the food with you. On top of that, your men don't really need the extra food. What do? Leave the fort alone and march on. Attack the fort and burn all the food. Attack the fort and take 20% of the food. Attack the fort but leave the food untouched. Take the food, man. We can say take the 20% of the food with us and save the rest for the trip back. Yeah. Your horses have grown ill from the bad weather in foreign lands, and you have a feeling that they're going to start dropping like flies in the next day or so. What do? Put the horses down and bury them. Put the horses down and harvest them. Continue riding on your horses until they drop. Sell your horses for very meager rations. Harvest them. Might as well harvest them. Even horses deserve a kind death, but we might as well make use of the meat. Very good. I will be taking note of all the answers you give. Well, I would surely hope so. Now, how about we delve into the world of divine blessings, magic, and curses? Well, now you're talking my language, sweetheart. Well, we'll see if you know as much as you let on. I don't know why I struggled to read that apostrophe. Do you believe that magic has the potential to solve all problems? No. No, but it does make problems a lot more fun to deal with. Do you believe in the power of divinity? Yeah, sure. You mean some form of higher power? Sure, I'd love to meet with it one day. Have you ever said a prayer? Yes. Once, but it went unanswered. Would you regret casting a spell on your enemies? No, absolutely not. If they've invoked my wrath, they deserve whatever's coming to them. I feel like he doesn't need to ask this guy that question because he's already cast spells on his prison guards. Would you consider yourself to be superstitious? No. No, but I am a little stitious. Okay. Have you ever been cursed or felt like you were cursed? No. Curses only affect the weak-minded. I am far from that. Do you think that evil magic exists? No. Good and evil are relative terms. Magic is magic. If you were the most powerful magician in the world, would you choose to rule it? No, I don't think so. No, I wouldn't want to. What do you mean, if? Regardless of your silly question, the answer is no. I'm perfectly content setting it ablaze one town at a time. If you could cast a curse on an entire group of people, would you do it? Yeah. Surely. I've done so many times. Would you consider yourself to have a pure heart? No. Not after that last question. Do you believe that what goes around comes around? Yeah. Of course I do. Need I remind you of the mess I made in your cells? Have you ever wished ill upon your enemies? Yeah. Quite frequently. Do you believe that everyone has their demons? Yes. Some are just darker than others. Have you ever wished your enemies well? Yeah. I think both works. With some nice charred grill marks. Have you ever wished ill upon your loved ones? No. What makes you think I have loved ones? Okay. That's just, I didn't need that. Have you ever wished ill upon yourself? No. Wishing ill upon myself is pointless. If I wanted to be ill, I wouldn't need to wish. I just need to listen to you yammer on about how you think politics work. If someone says yes to this question, the game needs to be a little concerned. If you had a spell that could turn back time, would you use it? Yeah, that'd be fun. I have, and I would again. Fair enough. If you had a spell that could blink you into the future, would you use it? Yes. Perhaps, even if for only a few moments. Would you ever use your magic to make a living? Yeah. I've been doing so my entire life. Do you believe that magic has its limits? Yes. Everything has its limits. Would you rather be able to bless others or curse others? Bless. While I can do both, I think I'd prefer to bless others, if those are my only options. Would you rather be blessed with luck or intelligence? Intelligence, every day. I'm on a constant journey for knowledge. Intelligence knows no bounds. Would you rather be guarded by an angel or protected by a demon? That sounds horrible. No matter what way you cut it, the result remains the same. I wouldn't need either of them to assist me, but if I had to choose, I suppose I'd pick the angel. At least I wouldn't have to wonder when they're going to turn on me. Exactly. Yeah. Would you rather be able to read minds or talk to the dead? I feel like reading minds is probably more helpful. But I don't know if I'd want to be able to read minds. If I can choose, if it's selective, then yeah. The power to know what people are thinking as they're thinking it can provide a great deal of power over any situation. Would you rather be able to teleport someone beside yourself to a location far away once per day or teleport yourself once per month? The amount of money I'd make teleporting one person a day. That one. Or just getting rid of somebody. I'd rather teleport someone else once per day. That way, they can take all the risk as they do my bidding. Oh, okay, or that, I guess. Would you rather be able to heal wounds or cause severe magical harm? Heal wounds. I can already cause severe magical harm, so healing wounds would be a nice bonus. Would you rather have the power to give someone life or instantly take someone's life? Gift life. The power to bring someone back from the dead is equal to none. Exactly. Would you rather give up 1% of your own life to cast a spell or 5% of someone else's? 5% of someone else's easily. And I'd cast the same spell 20 times over. That's just mean. Would you rather reign over a demonic kingdom or serve in an angelic palace? Give me the angelic palace. Demons can't be ruled over. At least, not for long periods of time. If you had to choose between bringing a pet back to life or a person back to life, which would you choose? Easily a person. I don't even have pets. I do care more for animals than I do for people, but people are typically more useful. If you could turn invisible for 1 hour or breathe underwater indefinitely, which would you choose? Oh, underwater indefinitely is awesome. The ability to breathe underwater indefinitely is difficult to rival. Yeah. A comparison of an hour to an indefinite? If you could cast a massive fireball to incinerate your enemies or turn them against each other for an hour, which would you choose? I feel like the result's the same. Massive fireball, more fun. I'd rather get the job done quick and incinerate them all. Yeah, that's easy. Would you rather summon an undead army to fight for you or call upon the spirits of the dead to haunt your enemies? Might as well have them fight for me. An army of the walking dead could wreak havoc on both the living and their lands. This can be beneficial in many aspects. Would you rather bless your greatest enemy with wealth and power, or curse your own kingdom with terrible luck. I can't give the enemy power. We have to get bad luck. Well, this is technically my kingdom now as I'm working for you, so I suppose I wouldn't have much to lose considering I didn't put in the time or effort to build it into what it is today. Would you rather have a pet dragon or a pet unicorn? Dragon. Yeah, don't even need discussion on that one. That's just dragon. You've learned of an enemy church used by opposing forces for worship and prayer. Your troops fear that if the enemy is able to invoke the power of the gods, that it could spell doom for your army. What do? Assure my troops that no harm will befall them, raid the church and burn it to the ground, take the church over and convert it for our own worship, slay the priests in the church in defiance of their gods. Oh, at this time you definitely do attack other religions, but that's bad. Take it over. Make it ours. Might as well make good use of the holy ground. No? Let's go on a crusade. A great magician has offered their magical services to aid your army in war. They request 10% of all your army's food rations, but claim that they can turn the tide in your favor. What do? Give them 10% of your rations for their services. Reject. Threaten the mage and force them to work for free. Haggle. And offer 5, risking them walking away. I'll haggle. If they take the deal, great. If they don't, we don't need them. Word on the wind is that your kingdom has a curse lingering over it from sins of the previous royals that held the crown. The curse is said to make sure that your defeat is inevitable in any future wars you wage unless royal blood is spilled on your side. What do? Sacrifice the queen, sacrifice the king, have the royals give birth to sacrifice the newborn. God, ignore the curse and hope for the best. I'm sure I can manage to break the curse through other means. A powerful priestess has come to your kingdom offering blessings for hire. She claims to be able to grant your kingdom various blessings for the low price of 10% of your livestock to be donated to her temple. What do you want to do? Request a blessing of wealth, request a blessing of power, request a blessing of health, and reject the blessing and part ways. 10%? I don't even get to haggle? Get out of here. 10% of our livestock is not worth what she offers us. You've discovered the whereabouts of an ancient tomb containing the supposedly cursed remains of a long-forgotten king. It is said that the wearer of the crown within the tomb possesses infinite power, but will eventually succumb to unending madness. What do? Leave the tomb alone and keep going. Raid the tomb and destroy the crown. Obtain the crown and sell it for vast wealth. Keep the crown and use it for your own kingdom. Sell that thing. Perhaps we can fetch a pretty penny for such an artifact. Your ancestors have found a way to get in contact with you from beyond the mortal realm, and they wish for you to heed a grave warning of the battle up ahead. They claim that if you send your troops into battle all at once, they will all perish, but if you send your troops into battle in small, 10% increments at a time, you will surely be victorious. You're unsure of how this could possibly win you the battle ahead, as it seems like all the signs point to be a guaranteed death for your army by sending in so few troops at a time. What do? Trust my ancestors and send in 10. Send my army in full force. Send the first 10 and see what happens. Send 50, followed by 50. We're going to split the difference, 50-50. If I'm wrong, at least I'll only suffer half. Your army has just been decimated in battle, and you're one of the lone survivors returning home to give your king the news of your defeat. A wicked-looking woman comes to you in your dreams and tells you how to perform a ritual to bring your army back from the dead as a mindless zombies in an effort to wreak havoc on the opposing kingdom for a second chance at victory. What do? Go back home and tell of the defeat. Go back home and tell of the vision. Return to the battlefield and attempt to perform the ritual. Ignore the vision. It was just a dream. I think I'd go back home and tell the king if he wants me to do it. That's fine. I'm not going to let some old hag dictate my destiny through dream speak. Interesting choices. I'm beginning to understand more and more how your mind works. Oh, is that so? You're a very pragmatic individual, Magnus. I detect a hint of conscience within that soul of yours, but you balance it well with what needs to be done. Fair enough. That's cute. Why don't we move on to the next set of questions, as I'm sure you've got more for me. Perhaps something a bit more grim. I'm feeling rather grim. Then perhaps we should focus on espionage, warfare, assassinations, things of that sort. Would you hire someone to kill your sworn enemy? No. Why waste resources hiring someone to do a job that I could do more efficiently myself? Would you hire someone to investigate another person and deliver valuable information to you? Yes. That's something I can see myself doing, sure. Do you believe that spies can be trusted? Yes. The right spies, when threatened with enough pain. Would you ever be a spy for your kingdom? Sure. I could see myself walking in those shoes. Would you be an assassin if you knew you could always get away with it? Oh, 100%. I'd be an assassin even if I couldn't get away with it. Do you believe you'd be able to spot spies in your own inner circle? Yeah. I can sniff out a rat from miles away. Would you give the orders for an assassin to take out a high-ranking official even if it would cost the assassin their own life? Yeah, I think that's part of a war for the greater good. Are you confident in your ability to deliver an espionage mission that has a high chance of success? High chance of success? I guess. I think that's something I could sort out. If someone asked you to spy on a close friend or relative, would you do it? Sure. I don't have any close friends or relatives, but if I did, yes. If someone gave you more wealth than you knew what to do with in exchange for information about your best friend that could potentially lead to their downfall, would you sell that information? No. But I may sell them false information. Now that's clever. They'll probably come after me. If someone was plotting to kill a stranger, would you get involved in an attempt to stop it? Yeah. If there's trouble to be found and fun to be had, I don't see why not. A well-placed spy is more powerful than a strong army. That does seem useful. In most situations, yes. A well-trained assassin is more important than a smart king. Yeah, actually, you can take out any king. I don't value kings all that highly, so yes. You never really know someone until you know someone. Do you agree? Yeah, that sounds fine. With all my heart. It's important to keep your enemies close. I don't understand that one. I prefer to bury them as far away as possible. Are you good at convincing people to trust you? Yes. Well, you hired me, didn't you? Can you convincingly act saddened by an event that doesn't actually upset you? I think I'm bad at faking emotion, so no. My emotions are revealed by the smile on my face. Incredible. Would you consider yourself cold or ruthless at times? Yeah. Have you met me? I don't really show emotion that much at certain times. If your loved one was a spy and they got caught, would you give your life to save theirs? No. That doesn't sound like me. If you had a message for your king, but your life would be put in danger if you gave your king the message, would you still do it? Yeah, that seems like an important message. Oh, I do like a bit of risk. Which do you feel is more important for a spy? To know how to lie incredibly well, or be able to relay information with pristine accuracy and detail? Lie incredibly well. I believe lying, or acting, as some like to call it, is of paramount importance to a spy. Would you rather train your spies with acting lessons or survival lessons? Survival. To be able to walk away unscathed, or at the very least survive any situation, is a great trait to carry. Would you rather send 10 mediocre spies to gather information on your enemy, or one very talented? One very talented, easily. Quality over quantity, my king. Would you rather invest 10,000 gold pieces into training the ultimate spy or 10,000 gold pieces into training the ultimate assassin? Spy, you get more information that way. I'd rather train the ultimate spy. I can do the killing on my own just fine. Would you rather have 100 soldiers to be trained as spies or 100 spies to be trained as soldiers? Spies as soldiers gives them more versatility. Soldier with the intellect of a spy could prove to be very deadly indeed. Would you rather reward your spies with gifts for their service or threaten your spies with death? No. Reward with gifts. Rewarding them for their work boosts morale, and morale is very important. If your spies were to get caught, would you attempt to save them or let them die in foreign lands? You gotta attempt to save them. We don't want them being tortured and forced to give up information on our own kingdom. If you were to capture an enemy spy, would you execute them or try to convert them? I don't want to convert. Do I want to convert them? Get rid of them. Another mouth to feed, especially an enemy mouth that can't be trusted, is one that should be swiftly shut for good. If you found an enemy spy within your kingdom, would you torture them for information or offer them wealth in exchange for information? Hit them up. Oh, I'd take great pleasure in searing their flesh as they beg for mercy. Would you be more likely to trust an enemy double agent who came clean, or your own kingdom's double agent who has been known to be untruthful in the past? I mean, the one who's telling the truth. While it could be a ploy, this seems like the safer option of the two. If your best friend revealed that they were a spy for an enemy kingdom, would you turn them in or let them continue their mission? Let them go. Well, this is why I don't keep friends. I'd most likely let them carry out their mission as long as it would benefit me somehow. If you were a spy and you were caught by the enemy, would you give up information in exchange for your life, or take your kingdom's secrets with you to the grave? I'm trying to live. I give up just enough information to survive. If you were a spy and you failed your mission and knew there was a small chance that your king would execute you if you returned home, would you take the chance and return home or live alone in the wilderness for the rest of your life? I gotta return home. I'm not that concerned and I like my chances. Yeah. Would you rather be in charge of trained spies who are really good at escaping dangerous solo situations or really good at rescuing others from dangerous group situations? Spies don't really need a rescue. A spy who can comfortably rely on themselves is a great spy to have. If you found out that your own king was corrupt, but his corruption would never affect you negatively, only benefit you, would you turn on your king to save the people, or let your king continue his corruption as long as it benefits yourself? Turn to save. I'd turn on my king to save the people, and then most likely use the momentum for my own corruption. A group of your best spies have just been captured by the enemy, and they're being sentenced to death tomorrow at dawn. It took a decade to train these spies, and losing them would be quite a large hit to your kingdom. Attempting to rescue them could potentially cost you even more in resources and casualties. Send a small group to rescue them. By force, send more spies to rescue them stealthily. Threaten the enemy if they do not release your spies. Deny your spies' existence. They're lost now. Gotta send soldiers in. Take them by force. When in doubt, the army rolls out. You've made a grave mistake and trusted an enemy spy that could cost your kingdom tens of thousands of resources. They plan to reveal themselves to your king, as well as throw you under the bus in the process. What do you do? Attempt to kill the spy before he reveals himself. Go to your king first and admit your mistake. Imprison the spy far away from the castle. Let the spy go through with his plan, hoping for the best. Take out the spy. If you cross me, that will be the very cross that marks your grave. You've sent one of your assassins to take out the opposing town guards, to weaken their defenses for attack. Instead of killing the guards one by one, your assassin has decided it would be easier to poison the town well, contaminating their water supply. All of the town guards have been successfully eliminated. However, thousands of innocent men and women and children have also fallen ill or died in the process, and the water supply is no longer usable. What do? Punish them for not following a more careful strategy. Reward them for thinking outside the box. Warn them to be more careful next time and let it go. Strip them of their job title. They cannot be trusted. We gotta warn them, because we did win the battle, so they They did what we asked. I love their enthusiasm, but they need a bit of tact. One of your spies has stolen a great fortune from the opposing kingdom, but has stashed 50% of what they've looted in an undisclosed location for themselves. Demand they hand over everything they've obtained. Let them keep 50% of what they stole for their efforts. Tell them they can keep 25% of what they stole. Punish them for holding out. I'll tell them to give us a little bit more. While I appreciate the enthusiasm, they don't get to decide what to keep. You drift off to sleep for the night, but are awoken by the sound of crying. You open your eyes and see your lover hovering over you with a dagger, a steady stream of tears flowing from their eyes. They reveal that they're supposed to assassinate you, and they've been lying to you all along, but they can't go through with it because they're madly in love with you. What do? Forgive, and try to find a safe solution. Turn my partner in, they cannot be trusted. Attempt to kill my partner before they turn on me. Tell my partner to leave and never return. I think you gotta get him out. Life for life. They can keep theirs, but they must go. You've managed to capture a spy from an opposing kingdom. They willingly give up all of the information about their kingdom, hopeful that you'll spare their life. Most of this information is relatively useless. What do? Execute them, imprison them, torture them. They must have more information. Thank them and let them go. They can live, but if it's useless, throw them in the cells for giving such lackluster information. If they have something worth my interest, we can talk. You're in the royal chambers and you've been served a drink. Something seems suspicious about the beverage, and you're almost 100% convinced that it's been tampered with, yet you have no proof. What do? Make someone else in the room taste the drink. Feign drinking it, play dead, and gauge the reactions. Take a drink without mentioning anything to anyone, dump the drink out, and go about your business. Yeah, I'll just dump it. I do love risk, but the risk isn't worth the reward in this case. I think I'm going to stop pretending to know you now, because you continue to surprise me. I have that effect on people. It's honestly slightly terrifying. I also have that effect on people. Why, thank you. What other questions do you have for me, King? I can tell you're learning, which means I'm an excellent teacher. I'm quite enjoying how intelligent I feel around such lowly, imbecile creatures. Well, that was harsh. Thank you. If I hurt your feelings, I assure you I wasn't talking about you. Then who were you talking about? Someone who looks just like you. It's crazy. And sounds like you. And wears a crown. And just so happens to be sitting in your throne. But someone who isn't me. I don't know, sure. I've always been a terrible liar. Not a good spy, apparently. Perhaps we should just continue with the questioning. That sounds like a swell idea. Do you believe that a strong defense is more important than a strong offense? 100%. An enemy within our walls is thrice as deadly as the ones outside. Is iron stronger than wood? Yeah, that's a dumb question. Is wood stronger than brick? No. Are these real questions you're asking me? Is brick stronger than iron? No. Really scrapping the bottom of the barrel with these questions now, aren't we? Is brick stronger than iron? No, probably not. Do you believe that war is more mental than physical? No. On the average person. Feelings and emotions don't win wars, actions win wars. On the average person, it is more physical. Would you consider yourself to be an expert tactician? Sure, that's going to be my skill. I could string together a series of strategies. Sure. Would you consider yourself to be physically strong? No. What I lack in physical strength, I make up for in ravishingly good looks. That blue hair. Would you consider yourself to be athletic? No. Not quite my strong suit. Would you consider yourself to be a genius? Genius? Way no. A smart man knows how smart he is. A wise man knows how smart he isn't. Would you consider yourself to be talented in one form or another? Yes. Absolutely, both in one form or another. Would you give your life to save a stranger? No. I wouldn't give my Wouldn't give my life to save my own life. Work that one out. Would you give your life to save a loved one? Yeah. In a parallel universe. Would you sacrifice a stranger's life to save a loved one? Yes. I'd sacrifice a stranger's life just for the fun of it. Would you kill someone in cold blood to save your best friend? Yes. Sure, once I killed a man in Reno just to watch him die. Why is that a movie or a song lyric? Would you accept payment in exchange for your aid in combat? That's just joining a military, and I haven't done that. I'm not for hire, though I can be persuaded through other means. Do you believe you could survive as a prisoner of war? I meant to say no. My wrong finger clicked. If you had to resort to cannibalism, absolutely not. What do you mean resort to? As if it isn't something I already do just for the taste. If you knew you were going to die in battle, but your death would cause your kingdom to be victorious, would you still go to the battle and participate? No, I'll hope that we're victorious otherwise. I can't see myself doing something so silly. If you knew that marching into battle would ensure the death of your entire army, but if you didn't march into battle, you would be imprisoned for treason, would you still march in? No. I'm not killing the whole army just so I don't go to jail. No, I'd take my army and turn them against my kingdom if that were the case. Would you rather equip your army with many archers or many cavalry? 100% cavalry. Strong cavalry can make many battles effortless, yeah. Would you rather equip your army with many cavalry or many foot soldiers? You need foot soldiers. Not having horses to feed can go a long way. Would you rather have 10 catapults with only 10 boulders to hurl, or 1 catapult with 100 boulders? 10 catapults with 10 boulders. I think 10 catapults and 10 boulders. I know it's less, but we're not getting through all 100. I'd use 10 catapults and make every shot count. This would give us a huge advantage all at once. Would you rather train your army to be resilient in cold temperatures or resilient in hot? Based on where I live, it's got to be cold. Many battles will be fought in the blistering cold. It depends where you're going. Would you rather equip your archers with longbows or crossbows? Longbows are easier to manage and have lower chances of malfunctioning. Would you rather beat your recruits for failing in training or starve your troops for fail? God, I don't like either, but I guess I'll beat them. While either option sounds appealing, pain is a great motivator. Would you rather execute troops who commit treason against your kingdom or banish them forever? Banishing lets them go fight for the other side, but if treason, yeah, I know they gotta get executed. Execution is what they deserve. Would you rather live in a society where anyone can challenge the leader to a duel to the death to determine a new leader, or have the leadership be passed down from a royal bloodline? Let's duel. May the strong inherit the earth. If you had to choose between saving 5 family members or 1,000 soldiers in your army, which would you choose? 5 family members. Sorry. Blood is thicker than water, or so they say. Would you rather be a judge or an executioner? Judge. Easily. What? I can't be both. Oh well. I suppose I'd rather decide someone's fate and keep my hands clean. Would you rather be famous or infamous? Famous. A fine line you walk either way, but fame carries less consequences. Would you rather win every battle but never win a war, or be triumphant in war but be devastated in every battle? I mean, you've got to win the war. I'd rather win my wars, yeah. Ultimately, that's what's important. That's what all the battles are for. Would you rather be an expert duelist or tactician? Tactician. At least as an expert tactician, I can ensure a safe outcome in many different situations. Would you rather possess superhuman strength or superhuman intelligence? Intelligence. Being smarter is always better. Would you rather fight your battles using sword and shield or ranged weaponry? I don't think I have the capability to shoot a ranged weapon, so we'll go sword and shield. Sword and board, baby. Your men are preparing for war, and they're scared out of their minds. They're sure that they're marching to their deaths, and it's your job to speak to them before the battle. Tell them if they do not fight, they will be executed anyway. Tell them of the riches there is to be had if they succeed. Tell them that the gods always favor the brave. Tell them they must fight for their families to survive. I think you gotta make it personal. Remind them why we're doing it. The thought of protecting their loved ones is often a man's greatest motivator. Word spreads through the ranks of a surging mutiny. At the head of the group of mutinous soldiers is one of your most skilled warriors. What do? Challenge the soldier to a duel to the death, put the soldier in prison, execute the soldier, try to reason with the soldier one-on-one and civilly. That seems like a great option. My strongest soldier is a great asset, but I can't have him causing problems from within. Perhaps I can sway him with words. If not, I can always incinerate him. Your soldiers have been marching for many days, and they're beginning to miss their families greatly. You feel that a morale boost of some kind is in order. What do? Let some return home, but alternate them. Let them write home to their family. Tell them they can see their family when the war is over. Tell them their family was slaughtered by the enemy. Let them write. I need my men focused, but writing home will remind them of what they're protecting. Enemy forces have abandoned their kingdom and seek to join yours. What do? Execute them for being treasonous, put them to work as slaves, welcome them into your army with open arms, turn them away, they're not to be trusted. Yeah, I'll take more military. An enemy of my enemy is my friend. A prisoner of war you've been keeping is trying to warn you of a conversation they overheard. They claim that someone within your ranks is plotting your death. Confront my potential assailant directly. Ignore them. They're trying to turn us against each other. Turn the prisoner into your own personal spy. Warn your army of the consequences of betraying you. Confront directly. If someone within my own ranks is plotting my death, we will have words at the very minimum. Your army has decided to march on without you, fighting for their own cause instead of the cause your king has placed before them. Join them. At least they're pushing forward. Abandon them and return home to your king. Convince them that their way is not the best way. Threaten execution or banishment for not conforming. Hey, pushing forward sounds like they're going in the right direction, so we'll do that. Regardless of the reason, I'll always pick the winning side. That's not what I thought that was going to mean. Your scouts tell you that a massive army is just over the hills, planning devastating sneak attack on your kingdom. What do? Well, we can't let a direct attack go through our walls. We must go out and bring the battle to... I didn't even read those answers. I believe I have enough information on this topic. I'm quite impressed. You never cease to amaze. After each round of questions, you prove to be a wealth of knowledge. Or perhaps I'm just very deceptive. But you said that you're terrible at lying. Sounds like something a liar would say. I have one more round of questions for you. Answer these, and I will have a clear direction to take my kingdom in over the next 12 months. I'm here to help. Ask away. Would you consider yourself to be a reasonable person? Yes. Absolutely. Wouldn't you? Would you consider yourself to be an honest person? Yes. With all my heart. Which I've already said I don't have. Would you consider yourself to be loyal? Yes. To myself. Would you consider yourself to be more intelligent than the majority of your peers? My peers? Yeah. All of my peers. Is blood always thicker than water? Yes. Technically speaking. Are you able to go days without eating without it negatively impacting your mood? Absolutely not. Oh, you wouldn't like me when I'm hangry, King. Is your social standing important to you? No, not really. I couldn't think of anything less important. Do you partake in alcohol consumption? Yes. I've been known to drain an alehouse dry on occasion. Do you partake in drug consumption? No. I prefer to keep my mind clear and remain in control. Funny statement after saying you empty an alehouse. Are you of sound body and mind currently? Sure. Would you consider yourself to be trustworthy? Yes. You won't always like my answers, but you'll always know where we stand. Do you sometimes put yourself before others? Yes. Whenever I can. Would you consider yourself to be selfish at times? Yes. If I can help it, sure. Would you consider yourself to be somewhat evil? Evil? No, that's a bit far. There is no such thing as evil. There's only human. Would you consider yourself to have a good heart? I think I already answered this and I said no. I'm not sure that I'd consider myself to have much of a heart at all. Do you have an incredibly guilty conscience? Not really. Oh, come on, have you learned nothing about me? Do you love many people in your life? Yes. Only once they're gone. Would you consider yourself to be confident? Yes, depending on what it is. Would you consider yourself to be a fast learner? 100%. Taught myself how to conjure a plague in under an hour. Does that clarify? Would you consider yourself to be a quick-tempered? No. I remain calm, regardless of the circumstances I find myself in. Would you rather be a leader or a follower? Follower, that's what I've done most of my life. I'd rather let someone else fuck things up while I sit back and laugh at their stupor. That's also incredibly valid. Would you rather follow a strong but mean king or a weak but nice? Weak but nice. Easier to manipulate. That's also true. Would you rather take the blame for something you did or take the credit for something you didn't do? I'll take the blame. If I did something stupid, I'd rather people know me for who I truly am. Would you rather fight a strong warrior to the death or play a fatal game of chess with a wizard? The wizard isn't going to be inherently good at chess. I welcome all challenges in such a game. Would you rather die for what you believe in or kill for what you believe in? I'd rather not die. I'd kill for your beliefs too. Would you rather be able to fly or be able to turn your body from solid to liquid at will? Fly. I don't know why I'd want to do that. Flying can get me many places I'd wish to go. Would you rather fight a lion to the death or be eaten alive by a bear? I mean, it's probably going to be the same thing, but this one at least gives me the chance. I'd prefer to live, thank you. I'd probably still lose, is the problem, and then be eaten alive. Would you rather never eat solid food again or never consume liquid beverages again? It has to be never eat solid food. That stinks, but it's better. I don't need my food to be solid to enjoy it. I do. Would you rather leave your friends and family behind or never meet anyone new in your life? That's great. That's a crazy statement. Never meet anyone new in your life? I mean, I'm not leaving everybody, so I'm not meeting anyone new. I don't really have friends or family at this point, but I also don't like people. Would you rather be a jester that everyone loved or a tyrant that everyone hated? Why would I want to be a tyrant? Oh well, that just sounds like my dream job. Would you rather rule over a massive army or a small band of troops? Small band, it's more personal. Small band of troops is easier to manage, that too. Would you rather travel the world freely but have no home or build an impregnable fortress that you may never leave? Travel the world. I'm currently living that way as we speak. Would you rather solve problems with violence or without? Without, if it's possible. If people don't need to die, then I can find a use for them later. Would you rather trust a liar or lie to someone who believes you to be honest? Trust a liar. I would rather trust a liar. Okay. The best adventures start that way. I guess. If you had to choose between killing your favorite pet in order to eat it, to survive, or die of starvation, I'm killing the pet. I don't care. This is the first difficult question you've asked me all day. I suppose if I absolutely had to, I'd eat my pet. I'm easily eating a pet to not die. The local innkeeper has been caught running a brothel. His prostitutes have made him a wealthy man, but he's refused to share his wealth with the prostitutes. What should we do? Throw the innkeeper in prison and take the gold. Give the prostitutes the gold and the innkeeper nothing. Let the innkeeper run his establishment his way. Execute the innkeeper and the prostitutes. Let's take the gold, throw him in jail. Naughty, naughty, naughty. That gold now belongs to the kingdom. An old man was caught for stealing bread for his family. The punishment for theft in my kingdom is the loss of your left hand. Take the man's left hand, throw the old man in prison, let the old man off with a warning, buy the old man bread for his family. Yeah, get him some food. This ain't Les Mis. I can appreciate his effort and enthusiasm. It should be rewarded. A princess from a neighboring kingdom has come seeking marriage. She has proven to be very powerful, but not to be trusted. What should we do? Marry her for her power, then usurp her throne. Take her away immediately, court her, but keep her cards close to your chest. Make her relinquish power before marriage. Keep the cards close. We'll see what she's truly made of in time. Plague has been sweeping nearby villages, but it hasn't entered the kingdom yet. Many people have fallen ill or died. What should we do? Keep the sick out and burn the bodies. Invite the sick into the kingdom for better treatment. Send our priests out to heal the sick. Let them fend for themselves. It's not our problem. Keep the sick out and burn the bodies. The damned are no longer our concern. We must focus on what we still have control over. A strange, monstrous new race has begun to appear around the land. They seem to speak our language reasonably well, but they are savage, uncivilized, and lure and trap our people to feed on their corpses. They hunt us like wild animals, and they're bigger, stronger, faster, and perhaps even more clever than we are. Track one of these beasts and offer food to join us. Exterminate the threat and put their heads on pikes. Begin imprisoning these beasts when they're found. Capture the beasts to unleash them behind enemy walls. Let's try and get them to join us. If they act based on hunger, we can easily tame them. A traveling bard has come through the kingdom who claims to have a magical song that can turn the tide of any battle. For his services, he requests room and board in the castle with unlimited food and the fairest of maidens. We believe him to be true to his word, which we do. Offer the bard what he wants. Execute the bard so no one can use his power. Turn the bard away, we're not interested. Threaten to imprison the bard unless he aids us for free. I mean, hey. Bard provides a magnificent magical prowess that only they can conjure up. They're worth the trouble. Some music for a room, food, and a whammon. Go for it, dude. An old baker woman has come forth demanding that we offer her and her children immunity to tax collection. She didn't give a good reason other than she felt like the kingdom takes too much from her in her situation, and she has too many mouths to feed to be able to afford taxes any longer. Explain that everyone has to pay taxes. Take one of her children so she has one less mouth to feed. Imprison her for a month so she learns her lesson. Grant her requests so she doesn't have to pay taxes. Yeah, go to jail, lady. Anyone with such a sense of entitlement should be taught a lesson. I believe I've gathered enough information about you, your morals, your advisory capabilities, and ultimately what I should do with my kingdom over the next 12 months. So does that mean you're done with me now? For the time being, yes. Over the next year, I will be instituting changes that need to be made based on your answers, and at the end of these next 12 months, I will update you with a progress report of how things have turned out. If my kingdom falls into ruin, then I suppose I will take it as a learning lesson and relinquish you of your title of Royal Advisor, and allow you to carry on in your travels. And if your kingdom does not fall into ruin, then we'll know for certain that the advice you've offered has proven to be beneficial, and I suppose that means I'll owe you a great deal. So in other words, you'll be indebted to me. Yes, I suppose if you put it that way, that would be accurate. Very good. Well then, King, I suppose I shall take my leave. I assume you have my chambers already prepared. I do not wish to sleep in a cell for the next year. Of course. Your private chambers have been prepared while our advisory session was in progress. I'll have my guards take you there now. That's awfully kind of you, King, but I'm a big boy. I can find them on my own. Besides, I've got some exploring to do within the castle walls before I slumber. Upon joining King Harold's ranks and being recruited as his royal advisor, many changes have come to pass over the last year. King Harold has heeded your advice in many ways, imposing changes throughout the kingdom in hopes of prosperity and growth. The progress has been documented, and the result of the report is as follows. 72% more cavalry have been recruited, archers have received 45% better training, crossbowmen and longbowmen have begun working together, and their strategic prowess have increased by 42%. Swordsmen have improved their skills by 53%. Your army is 41% less susceptible to hunger pains while marching. Your troops have learned to gather food and purify water with 61% increased efficiency, and your troops' knowledge of wilderness survival has increased by 64%. The morale of your troops has increased by 74%, while your military prowess overall has increased by 81%. Your army was able to repel 5 attacks made against your kingdom, and managed to capture 2 outposts, 4 villages, and 1 castle. Your kingdom's population has increased by 13%. Lord Farron made 11 unsuccessful attempts to attack your kingdom, each time thwarted more easily than the previous attempt. You've suffered 12% military casualties over the last 12 months. You've recruited a total of 75% more troops than what you've lost. Your defenses are 71% stronger than ever before. Tales of a great sea beast was spoken on the winds, a beast of great legend that sank merchant vessel after merchant vessel, bringing the most bold and experienced of sailors to their inevitable demise at the depths of the great ocean. You decided to see if these tales were true, so you set sail on the sea in search of this great beast. It turns out the legends were true, as tentacles began to wrap around your vessel. Your men fought valiantly, and there were a few casualties, but with your magical prowess and quick thinking, you managed to vanquish the sea beast once and for all. As a nice bonus, it turns out that its lair wasn't too far from where you slew the beast, and upon discovering its lair, you also managed to discover that all of the fortune that was obtained from the merchant vessels had been stored in the lair of the beast. Unrivaled wealth now belongs to your kingdom. Congrats. Trade and commerce has increased by 61%. Your spies have successfully completed 14 missions. 11 successful assassinations were carried out on opposing forces. Your people are 55% happier than ever before. A raven appeared in your window upon the stroke of midnight, carrying a grave warning. It spoke in the tongue of ancients, and upon listening to its caw, you learned that an enemy of your savage barbarians were only 3 days' march away from your kingdom's walls. This would be absolutely devastating, as many of your own troops are currently marching in battle against Lord Farron. But with quick thinking and problem-solving skills, you devised a plan to ambush the barbarians and clear them out before they've whatever. Well done. Overall assessment of your advisory skills: magnificent. It started off with not a lot of words, and then your secret word is Bard. Take this tedious word and leave it in a comment for us, as it will be of use to you in the future, and you will be rewarded for your contribution. Who the hell is knocking at this ungodly Open up, Magnus. We know you're in there. Just break the damn thing down. Bring him in. Hello again, Magnus. Wish we could be meeting under better circumstances. What the hell is going on here, Billy? Old Bill Buckles here says you two are the best of friends. Oh? Is that so? Do you have any idea who I am, magician? Can't say that I do, but I'm sure you're about to tell me. I'm Captain Wallace of King Farron's army. I serve the brother to King Harold. Continue. You see, we've been after King Harold for some time now, and he was right where we wanted him. Lord Farron was just about to crush this kingdom and overtake it once and for all, but somehow they managed to do a 180-degree turn and make one hell of a comeback. Now, a little birdie tells me that the king has a new advisor. and something tells me that you're the one responsible for those recent changes. I'm the little birdie he's referring to, in case you were wondering. Yep, gathered that one. Thanks for the clarification, though, Billy. Sorry, Magnus. I didn't mean any harm by opening my big fat mouth. They just picked me up one day, and that's enough out of you. Now, Magnus, we want to bring you to our kingdom so you can advise Lord Farron and leave this shithole behind. And why would I want to do something like that? Because if you don't, there will be consequences. Now, we don't want to hurt you. But we can either do this the easy way or we can do this the hard way. Interesting. Would you be so kind as to explain the difference between these two for me, Captain? Well, you see, you can either come willingly, nice and easy like, or we can take your best friend here and we can bash his brains in until you decide to join us. The choice is yours. Wasn't expecting that outcome. It appears you've just lost your bargaining chip and any leg you had to stand on. What a pity. How could you just... This seems to be a massive miscalculation on your part, Captain Wallace. Perhaps you should tell me again about this hard way that you mentioned earlier. Look, there has to be some sort of agreement we can come to. Oh, now you wish to negotiate. Lord Farron needs your help. King Harold isn't what you think he is. Please, Magnus, we could really use your expertise. Yes, I don't doubt that. Lord Farron has much to offer you. Does he now? I'm sure you've heard of the Staff of Mordalius. You're lying. Cross my heart, hope to die. And you will. I'm not lying, Magnus. I swear to you. We picked it up on an island not far from here. We learned of an ancient artifact located nearby, so we ventured forth. Turns out the legends were true. Wasn't even that hard to fetch, surprisingly. We anticipated a great deal of resistance if such an artifact were to exist, but the natives of the island didn't put up much of a fight. This is certainly not the proposition I was expecting when you came barging into my chambers. You wouldn't regret joining us, Magnus. But if we're going to make this happen, you're going to need to swear off all loyalty to King Harold, once and for all. So what do you say? Do we have a deal, or not? This concludes The Advisor, Episode 1, Royal Pain. You've successfully managed to advise King Harold and turn his kingdom around. Perhaps it's time to move on to bigger and better things. Or maybe staying with King Harold is the best decision you could make. Well, that was fun. That is The Advisor, Royal Pain. Let me know if you want to see more from this game developer in the comments down below. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.